Today I fucked up by using Gold Bond on hemorrhoids. For those of you who have or are suffering from hemorrhoids, let me tell you of a cautionary tale. For those of you who haven't, thank your lucky stars. After laying in bed for a couple hours and unable to go to sleep, the itch had finally driven me mad. The itch is unlike any other torture you can imagine, incessant, and no matter how much you scratch it will never go away. Finally, out of desperation, I got up and went to the bathroom to deal with it. Now, being in the bathroom, I knew I was in trouble because I had run out of Preparation H and forgot to buy more that day. I started rummaging through the medicine cabinet looking for anything I could possibly imagine that would help. And there it was, Gold Bond medicated ointment. I quickly read the back, and as soon as I seen relief from itch, I was done reading and it was a foregone conclusion I'm going to use this. I sat on the toilet across from the tub, applied a liberal strip on my finger and proceeded to apply it to the affected area. Considering the itch at this point, I may have rubbed it in a little harder to gain some immediate relief. Then it started to hit me. The burn. Things started getting warm down there, and then I started to realize I may have made a mistake. About every 10 seconds the heat would increase by multiples of 2. When I didn't think it could burn anymore, it got hotter. Now I was bent over leaning on the tub with tears running down my cheeks in sheer panic, wondering what should I do. I wanted to hop in the shower and wash it off with soap, but it felt like I had been punched in the lower back and I was incapable of moving. I was seriously thinking about called for my wife to ask her to take me to the hospital, but I couldn't imagine telling ER registration what I had done. I can hear the nurse now. Sir, you did what? All I could do is stay where I was in my contorted position and think over and over again in my head, my bum. My bum. This was one of the worst experiences of my life. Not only the fact that hemorrhoids are a personally degrading infliction to have, but for what I had done to myself was completely shameful. After about half an hour the burn had started to subside and I started to realize I was going to make it through this. One thing I must say though, on the upsides, the itch was gone. TL, doctor, don't use Gold Bond on hemorrhoids. Some things are worse than the itch. Yeah, just use the Preparation H suppositories. Works freaking wonders. I was prescribed some after pregnancy. My O called them bum bombs. Fire in the hole. I'm glad you made it through that. That's as bad as the time I had jock itch and decided to use Blue Star ointment, because I didn't know any better at the time. I was in high school. I put some on my groin area and accidentally got it on my balls. Well, that was my first mistake. Great balls of fire is what I thought I had. I realized I needed to get this stuff off my fiery sack as quick as possible, so I filled the bathtub with water to sit in and wash the ointment off. That was mistake number 2. Hot or cold water doesn't matter, it just burns more. As I was trying to wash this thick, demon fire ointment off, some found its way to my asshole. At this point, I was silently crying. After about 15 minutes of trying to wash this hellfire off my nether region, the pain started to subside. Let's just say I will never use anything like that between my legs again. I can assure you the ER has seen it all. Hope the burn scares the itch away for at least a few days. Bless. Well, that sounds awful. What makes them itchy? NVM. Don't tell me. You could have used hydrocortisone cream, if you had any. It would have stopped the itch and reduced inflammation. A hemorrhoid is any vein around the internal walls of the anus that, well, become external. They bulge and swell until they protrude, and sometimes rupture, causing bleeding and infections. I'm not even sure hydrocortisone would have the intended effect either. But I hope to Almighty God I don't have to find out. Today I fucked up by commenting on my boyfriend's sister's toilet habits. This took place about 2 years ago, but it still haunts me. F, boyfriend's boyfriend's sister D, boyfriend's dad I, F then 18, and my boyfriend, M then 18, were sitting in his living room with his dad and his sister, then 6. S got up to go to the bathroom. The rest of us continued talking in the living room. I'm the only one who noticed, but my BF's sister darted, half naked, to the trash can where she threw away her toilet paper. Here's where the fuck up comes in. I told my boyfriend about this, and he then proceeded to grill his little sister. It turns out her babysitter had told her not to flush toilet paper. What proceeded was a lovely little conversation where D and BF explained the importance of flushing. S got embarrassed, and noticing this, her dad started to course correct. He decided to cheer her up. We were going to have a ceremonial flushing of the toilet paper. We lined up and started chanting while making our way to the toilet. D grabbed the small trash can and held it above his head. DF's sister had gone from embarrassed to laughing like crazy. Then came the dumping. D turned trash can upside down and the toilet paper came tumbling out. But that wasn't the only thing in the trash. Single Durex wrapper, once carefully concealed by a tissue, tumbled into the toilet. I watched in horror as recognition crossed D's face. D turned to BF and asked, "What's up with the Durex wrapper?" BF calmly scooped the wrapper out of the toilet and replied, "Gotta stay safe, dude." Meanwhile, I promptly died of embarrassment. Too long didn't read. I called out my boyfriend's sister for not flushing toilet paper, and it led to his family ceremoniously discovering that our favorite brand is Durex. Marry this man, he is a legend. Gotta stay safe, dude. Fucking God. I've heard a lot of older people do this, not sure why. Maybe BC of septic tank? Not sure. It's weird to me too. It's definitely for septic systems. They actually have septic safe TP. TP fills the septic tank faster and means that it has to get pumped out more often. Why do people react so bad to their adult kids using PPE during sex? Ha 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 ha. My mom found a used condom in the bathroom which apparently didn't hide very well. Next thing I know, my brother is getting yelled at about having sex in the house. I couldn't believe he took it, and after it was all over he just came in my room and said, "You fucking owe me for this." Today I fucked up and launched orange juice into my eyes. I was making screwdrivers, so I got the orange juice, a full gallon, and the vodka out of the fridge. I instinctively shook the orange juice bottle and took the cap off. As soon as the cap screwed off, my cat knocked something over in the other room and I placed the cap back on the juice and ran out of the room. A few minutes later I returned to the kitchen to continue making screwdrivers. At this point I had completely forgotten that I had already shaken it and unscrewed the cap, so I grabbed it and shook it again. The cap fell off as I grabbed it, but before I realized what was happening I swung the bottle up towards my face to shake it, and proceeded to absolutely drench my face in orange juice. The bottle opening is pretty wide, so at least like 1/3 of the juice had sprayed me in the face. So there I stood. 2 a.m., already drunk, absolutely soaking wet and unable to open my eyes. My mind had not registered fully what happened, so I was probably more confused in that moment than I had ever been in my life. When I smelled the oranges it clicked in my mind like, oh shit, I'm covered in fucking orange juice. 45 minutes of cleanup ensued and I had to take a shower. Too long didn't read, forgot the orange juice was unscrewed and shook forcefully with the bottle opening towards my face. I made it the upvote. B69, be proud. Better than the vodka. Ball Paul says hi.